Welcome to the First Issue Club podcast. We're your weekly comic book show. We're just like Sue Storm. We love a good read. Yeah, you heard of one of these comic book shows? There's a bunch of them. What? Someone told me today we're the 8th best.
We're the 8th best comic book show?
Someone said we were on some like recently posted blog or something
Okay.
that ranked the best comic book podcasts.
And we were 8th?
We were number 8. And I was like, who the hell is 1 through 7?
Yeah.
Let's take them down. But they were, to our credit, they were more like national, like
Okay.
Marvel's podcast, like Images podcast.
You're telling me we cracked the top 10?
According to someone, I don't know who it was. It sounded like it was a reputable website.
www.comicbookpodcastrank.com.
Someone to be trusted.
Interesting. Okay, cool. Nationally ranked First Issue Club.
How about that?
Has a good ring to it.
We should be proud.
Oh, that onomatopoeia you hear means it's time to blast off with Space Camper IPA. Yum, yum, give me some down in my tum-tum. Official sponsor of the First Issue Club.
Be looking out for us at Planet Comic-Con.
End of March.
And maybe a couple other yet-to-be-determined fun events surrounding that time.
Yeah. We are fresh off the heels of our annual meeting with Boulevard.
Yes.
And we got some pretty awesome things in the work.
So me and Greg are both wearing Boulevard swag.
If you're watching the video, we are full-on company men right now with our Boulevard swag. We have been red-pilled. We are good to go. So I'm excited because they have some really cool things that they want to make for us. And like in partnership with us that I'm like never thought that it would happen.
Yeah, very cool.
So really, really cool to have that. In the wings.
So we'll be repping Space Camper at Comic-Con. So come see us if you're in KC. And we'll be at the Boulevard booth for.
Speaking of Planet Comic-Con, the hit list of names.
Oh yeah, let's cover this
shit.
for our Midwest contingent. Who are you excited about?
The most excited about?
Sure.
Personally,
you can do a couple people if you want.
Adam Hughes.
Yeah.
Adam Hughes is coming to Kansas City. I am
you know how he signs his name?
Huge. I'm a huge fan. I'm Greg Lichtai, by the way. Huge fan of Adam Hughes. I have a ton of covers by him. He is just like the classic kind of new cheesecake artist, cover artist for a while.
You know what? I never really thought about him that way.
It's very stylized, kind of like bombastic covers.
Yeah, sure.
It's no Frank Chow.
No. Not by any means.
Yeah, it's not lewd, but it is very much just like, oh, Adam, hello. So I am extremely excited to see him. Ed McGuinness, is going to be there.
That's really cool, and I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, so
he did an amazing run on Batman Superman from like the early 2000s that rocked my socks.
I'm gonna have some paralysis on like choosing comics this year to get signed because there's a handful of people there where I'm just like, I've got too much stuff.
Well, thankfully we have a booth at Comic-Con this year, so we can bring a hefty amount. And if we go all 3 days, we don't have to sparse out. I mean, usually we've been going to C2E2, and when you fly or ride a train, you have to pick and choose.
Yeah, it is tough.
You can't go with your whole long box of books.
If you can do like one folio one day and then refill it with different stuff the next day, that's so much simpler.
Yeah.
Here's my dream though. CB Cebulski's back.
Old friend CB Cebulski.
And we just say, hey, this time, do you care if we like walk around to say hey to some people with you?
Yes.
And then we're just like cutting lines like fucking crazy. Chopping it up with people.
I imagine we will be acting like Wayne and Garth when they have backstage passes, just holding up credentials, being like, "We're with CB. We're with CB."
Dude, I'm so impressed with us and how much we kept our cools.
It was. I don't know if it's because we kept our cool or we were so shell shocked.
He did like 4 Instagram stories about us.
Yeah,
that was nuts.
That was completely bonkers.
Yeah, that was really cool.
And
I should frame those screenshots.
Just have him bronzed. Yeah. That's your headstone. Yeah. It's just
An Instagram story screenshot, just laser engraved on granite.
Oh man, yeah, I would do that. I'm excited for Comic-Con, for Planet Comic-Con this year. It's going to be a ton of fun.
Yeah.
Is there any particular artist that you are excited for? I mean, I know Christopher Lloyd's going to be there.
True artist.
And AJ from the Backstreet Boys.
Is he really?
Yeah.
It's so funny how much like the boy band stars do these circuits now.
Yeah.
And I really like, there is something about Planet where some years it feels like it got comic booky again.
Mm-hmm.
And other years it's like, it's one of those pop culture cons that's just like pandering.
It's like, what the fuck are we doing?
The thing they messed up on, that a lot of cons mess up on when they start to get really popular,
mm-hmm.
is that the floor space gets reserved so quickly
mm-hmm.
that if you're not saying, hey, 25% of these have to be vendors,
sure,
and then 25% of them need to be this, that, and the other,
mm-hmm.
then otherwise it's just a convention full of people selling you blinds and gutters.
We have talked about that at length.
There has been a Planet or two like that where you're just like, you can't let this happen again.
Why is the army here?
Oh my gosh. Okay, can we talk about something?
Yeah, totally.
That
it's our show, our rules.
There's the new what is it? Department of Government Efficiency.
Yes.
Which is like also DOGE, and they
Yeah.
put Elon Musk in charge of it, which is like a joke.
Yeah, the newest Nazi in power.
in itself. But if you Google comic books today, like constantly in the news, you see this thing that the DOGE is looking to eliminate all like as much promotional spending as they can, and they're calling it propaganda. I don't know that I would go.
Oh my god.
I don't know that I would go so far to call it propaganda, but they're like, government is not going to make any more candy, comic books, have mascots. We're getting rid of all that stuff. And I'm like, I don't know that I've ever seen
a government
candy, comic books, or mascots. But apparently they spend
it's like the bald eagle, the mascot. All bald eagles will be killed.
Maybe there's a guy
under the government efficiency law.
Maybe there's a guy that dresses up as a bald eagle on retainer. But...
He dresses up as like the Liberty Bell. It goes to school.
Cling, 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 cling.
Hi everyone, it's me, Libby.
Get these libs out of here.
Get these Libby bells out of here.
But yeah, and part of me was like, okay, I don't think the government is making like army comic books or anything like that.
No.
But what they do is they go to every comic book convention. Every single comic book convention,
mm-hmm.
they have a booth, and it feels very predatory, like they're trying to like...
They're luring kids in with their government candy.
Enlist nerds who have a hard time saying no and get bullied easy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like the flavor of it at all when I go to these things.
I don't like it either.
That seems like maybe that's what they meant, is that they're going to do like less of this like weird outreach at like comic book related
mm-hmm.
events, or maybe they do advertising in comics sometimes that's like, hey, join the Navy.
Is it strange?
I think the back of Marvel comics sometimes are like, join the...
Yeah. Is it strange to you that in the year 2025, we need recruiters still for like the military?
I don't think, because I'm like, who dreams of being in the military?
I think a lot of people do.
You think so?
And those people don't need recruiting. You know what I mean? Like those people don't need convince. Like, who's so on the fence that you're sending out people to be like tempting them with their sweet, delicious government candy? They're just like, come on, like, you know you want to. Like, I feel like
I think they find weird kids. Their goal is to find weird kids who are like,
who can't say no.
I don't know what I'm gonna do with college, and they're just like, man, you're fucked. Like I had a and this is from experience.
Uh-huh.
I had a recruiter call me, and I'm a nerdy kid that was like into like computer programming. I could like build my own websites and stuff. So I had like very little social skills at the time, and this recruiter is like talking to me about all this stuff and is telling me like I had some money saved for like community college, or I just started working to like pay my way through community college.
Right.
And he was like, you don't want to do community college is worthless. This guy's trying to talk me out of going to college.
Holy shit.
I'm a smart kid. I could do. I knew COBOL, C++, JavaScript.
He's like, give me your $2,000.
I knew all this stuff, and he was just like, college is, no man, that stuff's worthless. Like,
let me get
a real job. You're gonna be able to like do this, that, and the other, like with the military. Like,
sure.
Let's like meet up. Blah blah blah. And he had me on the phone for like so long, and
younger Mike didn't realize he could just hang up the phone.
Yeah, and my dad was like, who the fuck are you talking to? And I was like, this guy from the Army. And he was just like, click on the receiver. This is
your dad fucking knew.
To age me a little bit, this is like a corded phone where someone else could easily hang up for you.
And I want to be clear with my stance on it.
He just immediately hung up. And
if you want to join the military, please feel free to. Like, there is a lot of things that you could do to better yourself in the military.
I don't mean this at all to disparage people who join the military.
Sure.
Some of my best coworkers are people who worked in the military.
Right.
I mean, like, amazing people with like
very smart, have great jobs.
Very smart, and they learn so many great life lessons before the rest of us dumb shits do. And I have so much respect for people who are like willing to put themselves in that position, and when we need heroes like that.
Yeah. But the predatory nature of it is where we're just like, why? Why?
There's a part of everything good that's grimy, and that's the grimy part of it.
It's always when you turn 18. It's like those phone calls start.
Yeah.
And they only last for 6 months. They must have done a study of just like,
if you don't get them then.
If you don't get them the first 6 months, just move on. Because like there's a new idiot born every day, and they got to turn 18 sometime.
Yeah.
Which is what the porn industry also says. Moving on.
God, what were we talking about that got us there? Do we have another conversation to pick up? This is why
we're talking about things about Planet.
We need Post-its to be like return to form. You asked me if there was an artist or somebody I was excited for. And there was somebody, and I can't remember who it is now.
It's gone.
There's a cover artist there that I was like, it's going to be impossible for me to decide because I have got way too much of their stuff. But we'll see. I'll update on that.
Yeah.
And then we'll do a Patreon episode that's like, maybe. Oh, you know what would be a really fun live Patreon episode? Which we started like live streaming them for patrons or for everybody? It's just for patrons.
Patreons once a month. Yeah. Go to patreon.com/firstissueclub. Once a month, we'll do a live stream. It's been a blast so far. Live chat is maybe the best thing that has ever happened to our show.
Yeah, it is really fun to like interact with people.
It's funny to see everyone on the live chat basically punch up all of our jokes.
Yes, totally. I know.
Like, no, you should have said this. And we're like, fuck, we should have said that. That's amazing. So if you want to, even at the lowest dollar tier, you still get access to the live stream.
Yeah,
that happens once. I think we're gonna try to do second Thursday of each month.
Okay.
We'll do a live stream. So patreon.com/firstissueclub.
A really fun one would be, these are like the 10 covers that I pulled. And I don't want to bring 10 for Adam Hughes. I want to bring like 2.
I'm bringing like 20 for
which ones do I pick? Sure. Like that would be really fun to like pull them out and have people say like
a reverse whatnot show. Like,
reverse whatnot.
You're not buying these, but which one should I use? Why not?
Why, yes.
Some comic book news, should we?
Okay,
should
yes.
we dabble?
Yeah. We're using my phone to record. So I've gone analog today. I printed out some comic news stuff.
You took a picture of it with a Polaroid?
Yeah, that's right.
Wait a minute, you have a printer here?
I have a printer upstairs.
Oh, nice.
Not in this room.
Okay. Wow, God,
is that unheard of?
Why would you? Yeah.
Okay.
I really don't know many people that have printers now.
Yep.
Let's go to Kinko's.
I like having one handy. Bought a Brother laser printer. If you want to endorse us, brother, I've got some nice things to say about you.
Mike's been printing the internet because of you.
I'd always talk to it like, what? Who's the wrestler?
Oh, Hulk Hogan?
Hulk Hogan.
Print the spreadsheet, brother.
Yeah, exactly right.
We suck.
Great brand printer, though, brother. Captain Planet. Coming to us from David Pepos, of all people.
He's been on a heater lately. He did Space Ghost.
On Dynamite. Yeah, he did Space Ghost on Dynamite, and I think...
Among many other books, he hasn't just done Space Ghost.
Well, Space Ghost people really liked, and I think at this point, Dynamite is like, yeah, right, whatever you want.
Yeah, David Pepos could do a Mr. Rogers comic, and if it makes money, Dynamite will print it.
And Dynamite's really into doing the kind of like established IP with maybe like a built-in fan base or reviving weird old things.
Yeah, they're doing a one-shot of Wacky Racers.
Yeah, right.
Which got announced today.
Yeah. There is a version of this that I find intriguing.
Captain Planet?
No,
or
not,
Wacky Racers?
Not Captain Planet, but just like bringing back like weird Hanna-Barbera stuff.
1,000%.
We forgot about and doing like an interesting 2025 take on it.
Mm-hmm.
There's also versions of this like IP regurgitation that you're like, no, gross, cash grab, easy skip. And it's so hard to tell which one it's going to be. But normally, if it's a writer you're familiar with, then I don't know, like we loved the like Snagglepuss. So many of
because that was Mark Russell.
Mark Russell was like fantastic.
Yeah, Exit Stage Left Snagglepuss. It was on DC.
It was on DC, yeah.
It was, it's incredible.
There was a lot in that series that had like amazing writers, and I wish I would have picked up more of them. Like, had I known, there was like a Flintstones one,
also by Mark Russell.
Was that by Mark Russell too? And apparently that one was really good. So.
The Jetsons one and I think Jimmy Palmiotti was on the Flintstones.
Yes, that's right.
Jetsons
Jimmy Palmiotti wrote it, and it was like end of days, like Jetsons. Like they had to like figure out how to
save a precious painting that was in a tube.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that's right.
So
the tube
funny.
painting.
Tube
yeah.
painting.
We had like that's like early first issue club like ongoing thread
within
for like
first 6 months.
For months we were like,
what's in the tube?
What's in the tube? But Tube Watch 2019 or whatever the fuck year it was. Okay.
Will know. He's going through the backlogs.
Do we want to riff on Captain Planet at all?
Okay, so Dynamite, like we just said, is really hit or miss with their IP stuff.
Yeah.
It's surprising to me that it took this long to get Captain America again, or Captain Planet again.
Yeah.
And
the world needs a climate hero.
God, finally, about time. Al Gore has been shouldering the burden. I'm excited for it. To have anyone do it, David Pepos is probably the right person.
Yeah. To
do these licensed IP stuff.
Yep.
Correctly. So I am genuinely excited about this new thing.
Yeah. I've seen the cover of the first issue.
He got beard.
Captain Planet's a snack.
Oh, he's a full-on meal, my guy. He's
looking nice.
Yeah, he is all organic, whole grain, 20 grams of protein in one bite. Yeah, he is a snack and a half.
I never put together that like his hair is green, his skin is blue, he's like planet Earth.
Yes.
And his hair is like grass. Like that, like it never occurred to me.
I don't think it's actually grass, but it is like representative.
It's supposed to be like land.
Yes.
Land and ocean, yeah.
Yeah. I wonder where that Pangea is. What that Pangea do?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Cap.
Ooh, I found the Apostle Islands.
Where's that archipelago?
Okay. DSTLRY sent out an email today.
Oh.
That in, I think, Life number 4. Which is
there was a whoopsie.
Series I've been enjoying.
There's a whoopsie.
There's one page where the word bubbles are not only upside down, but also backwards.
How the fuck does that happen?
I know. I think that's so funny. I wonder if they have text printed in them. This is going to be a thing where everybody tries to buy a copy because they're like, error
Printing
version.
error.
And I, for one, can appreciate having a niche collection of error things. Like, it's kind of fun to own,
Sure.
even if it's not rare. However, my PSA for everybody here is not to overspend on this because there's going to be just as many copies of Life 4 with that error as there are any other issue of this series.
Can I role play as like a CEO of DSTLRY right now?
Sure.
To kind of like maybe like lean into the whoopsie daisy and make it kind of fun.
Are you like addressing the nation?
No, I'm just like here's what I'm gonna like. Here's what I would decree.
Am I a character in this?
Who would you like to be? Captain Planet?
Sure, I'll be Captain Planet.
Okay.
An unrelated comic.
Yeah. Folks, by now you've seen that we've made the big whoopsie daisy in our printed comic. Why not have a little fun and also make the error in our digital comic? Lean into it. So on page 4, the word bubbles will be upside down and backwards. Keep the error going.
Here's my problem as somebody who's just so in tune with the environment is that now you're reprinting this thing with this small minutia error fixed, and you're cutting down just as many trees.
No reprint, Cap.
To process this. No reprint.
No reprint. We're going digital.
Tell me more.
We're saving trees by not reprinting and making the joke in the digital version.
Now this, Captain Planet can get behind.
And scene.
Cheers. Yeah, I think that's funny.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good way to be like, hey, there's an error. To make it more fun, the error is also in the digital version.
That's funny. I like that. And then collected edition, fix it.
Totally.
Here's the thing.
Oh, wait, no. Keep it for the collected edition. Just keep the error. Just like, you know what? No redos.
All-encompassing
Just like
error.
we don't edit the show.
Yeah.
We don't edit the books after they've been printed. Sorry, folks.
I do think longer standing people are going to absorb this stuff in a collected edition, right? Like, obviously, we're comic book fans. We're surrounded by comic book boxes right now.
Yep.
That's the way I'm ingesting comics. Longer term, more people are going to read these things digitally and in collected editions.
Mm-hmm. We're the psychos that get the single issues.
You don't. I also appreciate that this is someone's art and they wanted it a certain way, and that like fucking sucks when it's not exactly what they wanted.
Yeah.
Like, I felt really bad for the artist on World Tree when they printed that cover and it was just like all black. There was like a character on the cover you could like not even see that was supposed to be there.
Right.
And like, that's a drag. This is like, how many chances do you have to put out a creator-owned comic and you have a particular way you want it and then it doesn't turn out like drag.
However,
but at the same time, let it be.
Yeah.
It'll exist longer.
Any news is good news.
And be appreciated more in another form eventually.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, honestly,
the essence of comics is that they're supposed to kind of like...
Do you think that this DSTLRY book would be getting as much airtime or being talked about as much if there wasn't the error?
No, absolutely not. And it would play more to its advantage if it were a first issue or something.
Totally.
But because it's a fourth issue, if you're asking if I'm going to conspiracy theory say this was intentional.
No, this was definitely not intentional. Not. But I would definitely highlight it if I was DSTLRY.
Yeah.
Just like, hey, gang, sorry.
Yeah.
Check out our other great books on DSTLRY.
We're talking about it. This series was good, I thought. I've only read 2 issues of it.
Is there a department of comic book efficiency for DSTLRY? Because that person needs to be fired.
I'm applying for head of DOGE for
comic
for DSTLRY. Comic DOGE, yeah.
Doge.
Good God. Okay, this week, the comic book to have.
Oh.
Can you guess?
No.
I might be wrong about this, but this was just my interpretation.
Rocket Raccoon, Doctor Doom?
No, comic? But I mean, that is a comic a lot of people are talking about.
I read it, so we're going to talk about it.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, the Fantastic Four Peach Momoko variant.
Oh,
that
the
has,
Galactus.
Yeah, Jeff the Shark and Galactica.
Excuse
a character
me.
from Marvel Rivals who is like daughter of Galactus, who also has like the same big ass helmet and outfit.
Wearing dad's hand-me-downs.
Yeah, exactly right.
We talked about how it's interesting how Marvel Rivals is now influencing
the aftermarket so
much and like generating more covers. It's kind of fun.
Yeah,
it doesn't influence my purchasing, but it is kind of fun.
Okay, there was a big argument on League of Comic Geeks.
There always is.
About, I guess.
I mean,
that's not news, right? But
sky's blue.
Specifically about the TVA number 2, and people were like, "This book's a cash grab. I hate all the like MCU synergy books."
I fucking said that
blah,
when
blah,
it
blah.
was announced in previews.
You did say that, but a handful of people who own comic shops were like, "Say that all you want. It's the like 4th most pre-ordered book for me this week."
Yeah, and these things have to coexist.
People are buying them. People are excited about them, and if more people get into comic book shops because of it, great. But here's the thing: I think people are a little let down by that comic, and so now the conversation has become, "Oh, it was just a synergy comic, and it's a nothing burger."
I don't think so.
If it ended up being
good,
I don't think we'd be having this conversation. And you can't have it both ways.
You know
what? We're pre-ordering these things months and months before they come out. So I've already pulled it before I know if it's good or not. I just know that like it had some kick-ass covers. There's probably going to be some fun, quirky first appearances in it. Like, these are comics worth picking up. It has those weird new Hickman Gods characters, and I bought all of those. So, like, it was like an automatic buy for me, and I don't regret it.
I don't know why people are mad. Like, from a Marvel standpoint, it makes sense why this book was made.
Yeah.
The Loki show was very popular. People wanted to know more about the TVA. So, what do? Okay, well, we'll explore that more in the comic book realm.
The TVA is cool.
I think it's fucking a great idea for a comic book.
The aesthetic of the TVA rules. There's so many cool stories you can tell.
Right.
Like, just because that's something that's closely tied to the MCU now, like, to me, that's a drag to be like, well, we can never put it in comics because they're not supposed to be backwards compatible.
And also, it's not a cash grab from Marvel. It's a cash grab from the secondary market. We need to identify that. Marvel's not making extra money.
Yeah.
They're selling it at market value.
Right.
The secondary market is the one who possibly benefits from this book popping off with Marvel and MCU characters interacting.
Well, and here's
Marvel just wanted to maybe expand upon the TVA more and
Yeah.
make more compelling stories.
And this might be the thing that people feel burnt about is that, and this might be not. I'm not saying everybody who's just like a League of Comic Geeks message board freaker is like this.
Get your freak on.
But some of you are, and it's
freak them keys.
And some people will be like, I pulled this based on thinking that it was going to be a valuable comic. It turns out it is not. It is worthless to me, and I'm mad about it. And that's not the way to like.
It's not the way to collect.
Approach this stuff. Yeah.
That's your own damn fault.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't feel sorry for you.
I'm not saying the book is like good or bad or like deserves your flowers, but some of the sentiment around it, I'm like, it's getting more people to comic shops. Yay.
Yes.
Like, I feel good about that.
You can't approach comic books like stocks. You know what I mean? It's just like, listen, I'm going to put all my money on this Ultimate Black Panther #2. I'm going to buy like 5 issues. I'm going to be able to resell it. Because you're going to get fucking burnt.
Oh.
And then you're going to go to the League of Geeks chat room and be like, I got fucking burnt because I thought it was going to make me lots of money.
I've said this a bunch of times that like, if you're buying baseball cards, Pokemon cards, comics.
And not putting them in your bike boats.
And primarily as a monetary investment, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
You could make a lot more money on your money just putting it in your freaking 401k or maybe even
it's called a Roth IRA.
A high yield like
savings account,
interest
get a CD?
Savings account, or like a brokerage account.
Open a credit union account.
Yeah, exactly right. Like that's better use of your money investment.
Burying it in a Folgers can in your backyard.
Totally. Like to me, any of my comics being valuable is a great side effect of a hobby I love.
Yep. The hobby I love is reading comic books.
Yeah. Did you see that thing about that? There was a dude who like blew something like $20,000. You were like, "What's Mike gonna say?"
What's that? Who's the freak now?
Who's the other lucky guy?
He blew 20 grand
on Pokemon cards, thinking he was gonna flip them. And then had just like,
you know what's gonna flip your mortgage when you can't pay it?
Tons of busts. Was just like, I'm gonna grade all this stuff. I'm gonna buy like a bunch of boxes.
Yep.
And I'm gonna make so much money because people host podcasts and YouTube channels and have social media channels that talk about Pokemon cards like they're Bitcoin.
Yeah. It's the TikTok influence, man.
Totally. That's not, and my hope today is that if you're about to drop a bunch of money on comics or another collectible and you're listening to this,
hoping to make more money off of it,
hoping to make more money off of it,
stop.
That will happen.
Stop now.
Once with every 500 comics you buy.
The stories you're hearing about the successes are the exception.
Yeah, that's
right. You are never the exception.
That's right.
Ever. Mike owns 10,000 comic books.
Yes.
From that, less than 100 are worth any kind of money.
That's right. I've got a separate list of a couple boxes of comics that you're seeing. If you're watching the video feed, we are surrounded by short boxes that contain around 10,000 comic books.
Right.
I've got a subset of like 5 boxes that are probably worth 30 grand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and like just those are like, and that's comics that I've spent like
a lot of money on
a
to get.
Shit ton of money on to get, right? The rest of it, worthless.
Yeah. Monetarily
worthless.
Entertainment-wise, priceless. Absolutely priceless.
Exactly right. Sentimentally, of course, I love it.
Jury's out. Jury is out.
Short message, buy some stock you can trust.
Yeah. Or just fucking invest in yourself.
Wow, what a tangent. Cineverse has saved the shelved Toxic Avengers movie.
That's right. I'm glad we're talking about it.
Yes.
2025 is the year of the Toxic Avenger, folks. The real hero we need. No shade to Captain Planet.
I think this is going to be such an interesting case study of like marketability of these things and the fact that somebody at a large studio saw the final product and was like, absolutely not.
No fucking way.
Yes.
What have you done to Elijah Wood?
Yeah. And that someone else was like, no, this is worth saving. And they found a way to do it. Is really going to make you relitigate all these tax write-off movies. If it's good, everyone is going to be like, we want to see that Batgirl movie or whatever that was. Was it Batgirl?
I want to see that Acme.
Oh yeah, the Acme movie,
Wile E. Coyote movie.
Yeah,
with Will Forte.
That's right.
Where's that fucking
and they're all
release?
Tax write-offs now. And how many of them are actually
good?
That bad?
Probably all of them are great.
I bet they're like. I mean, you think
cult
about
classic at least.
You think about how bad like MacGruber was reviewed. And
oh my god,
that
one of my favorite movies.
That movie's like a cult classic now.
Yeah. Conf.
So I'm excited to see that. If you don't know anything about it, it starred Peter Dinklage, Elijah Wood, and Kevin Bacon.
Do you want to fuck me or watch me get fucked by something? Have me fuck something else? MacGruber talk.
So there's some Hollywood heavy hitters in this, right?
Yes. I'm glad it's finally seen the light of day.
I think that the Toxic Avenger was made as like it's a B movie, right?
It's so smart of his
this
company
movie
to buy
probably
it.
honors B movies. And yeah, I think they're
the hype of it being shelved and then being unshelved is going to probably pay
for
for it in the long run.
And I would imagine they paid peanuts for it for like what it could have sold for.
Mm-hmm. I think on the DVD Blu-ray market, this is going to make a killing.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I'm so pumped.
And this, I think the company that owns it now, Cineverse, I don't know much about them, but they own a lot of like niche blogs and things that are like rad grindhouse movie kind of like B movie cool stuff. So it's on brand for them.
Totally.
So cool confluence of events. I would love to see a documentary about this whole thing one day. I don't know.
Maybe they'll put that in the special features in the DVD.
Yeah. New Amazing Spider-Man first issue coming out in like April.
Is this issue 1000?
Issue 1000 is maybe happening before the new issue number 1. I can't remember.
Okay.
I'm turned around on that.
Okay.
But the synopsis I read said it's going to focus more on characters from Peter's past or his like normal rogues gallery. Good or bad, in your opinion?
I guess bad because I'm confused on what it is.
It's just New Amazing Spider-Man.
Who's doing it?
Joe Kelly.
Okay.
I think this was one of those things where people have just been mad at Spider-Man because everyone's just like...
Everyone has been mad at Spider-Man for, it seems like 10 years now?
Yeah, right.
It's been a solid 10 years. And ever since Nick Spencer came on there.
Yeah,
like, fuck
I know.
This book immediately.
Totally. There's parts of it that I'm like, ugh. Are people not allowed to like do new interesting things anymore because we're just afraid they're just gonna pan it?
Can't.
But we're all buying it still, right? Like
it's more of a hate buy.
I in retrospect, I like Nick Spencer's run a lot more than I felt like I liked it at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciated how much existing Spider-Man knowledge the guy had.
Yeah.
And even though it was like a little much for me at times to like recall all the niche characters that he brought back into the story, it was impressive that he brought back that many old kind of like hanging threads and tied up that much Spider-Man canon throughout his like 100 issues. And then Zeb Wells, I think his Spider-Man run is fun. Yeah. And so many people...
This is a Zeb Wells safe haven, by the way.
Absolutely
leave that man alone.
Hate it. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, it was like, there's so many fun characters that came out of it. The guy gave us Hallows Eve, for Christ's sakes.
Here's the thing. People have this nostalgia thing, and they want every Spider-Man issue to feel like a Todd McFarlane cover. And that's just not it. That's just not Spider-Man anymore.
Yeah.
Like, just like you are growing up, so has Spider-Man, and so have the stories that we have to tell.
Yeah.
It's going to be different.
It'll be cyclical. There's some, we're just going to like, we'll do a back to basics thing and until people are tired of like, I've seen the same story with the Goblin over and over again. Like, let's change it up.
Yeah, like, is that what you want? Do you want to go back to him fighting Doc Ock and the Hobgoblin? Like, that's going to be trite. That's going to be so treaded. Yeah. Like, there's no more meat on that bone. Mm-hmm. We have to explore other avenues. Yeah. I'm sorry. Like, that's... I can't explain why Batman keeps fighting the Joker, but like we can't do it with Spider-Man. He needs other shit to do.
Yeah, right. Okay, I've got a factoid.
Mm-hmm. I think there's a cream for that.
This is the 10-year anniversary of the debut of Moon Girl.
And Devil Dinosaur?
Yes. I just thought that was wild.
That's
I was
cool.
like 10 years. Jeez.
Didn't seem that.
No, it doesn't seem that long at all.
Wow. So 2015.
2015. Moon Girl. Royals win the World Series.
And we'll never win it after that again.
50-year anniversary of Giant Size X-Men. Which is honestly seems kind of crazy to me to not be like...
I'm looking for yours.
Mine's in a box. I've... not on display.
Squandered away. As any good, amazing book should be.
No UV rays, please.
Yeah.
It's wild to me that Storm, Colossus, Wolverine, these characters have only been around
50 years.
50 years. They seem like they've been since time immemorial or whatever
It was
say.
the Big Bang, and then Giant Size
Nightcrawler and Storm and all my friends
the
were
Big Bang is Nightcrawler saying "Bamf," and then time exists.
They truly are our modern day gods.
Yeah, high upon Mount Stan Olympus.
Yeah, 50 years does not seem right.
Yeah,
1975, Giant Size X-Men.
Oh well,
pretty crazy.
Cool.
One last thing. Sorry, it's taken me so long to get to comics.
We went on a mighty journey to get here. You're fine.
Vault and Post Malone.
This is the trucker comic.
Are working on a graphic novel called Big Rig. Is this old news?
You were out when Andy and I talked about it.
Okay, you guys talked about it.
Months ago.
Okay.
And it was just in the prelim stage, and all we knew is that, is he driving it through hell? Or is there like demons trying to fight the Big Rig?
I don't know too much about it, to be honest.
In any case,
I read this article that was so ridiculous.
Is it up its ass about it?
Kind of. Well, because Michael Bay's involved now.
Yep.
Was he then?
Yes. Well, he was mentioned. I was like, oh, we are fucked.
This article was just like a bunch of rich people being like, I'm so excited to work with these other rich people, and it just sounded like
Mark Zuckerberg,
so insincere and just like we're gonna make a lot of money, baby.
You can tell when a comic book project is gonna go sideways when you see multiple big names attached to it. You're just like, oh, this is gonna be a movie already.
Yeah,
like this is already a movie.
Yeah.
However, when we first covered this, Vargas did read me the synopsis of the book, and it sounds like it fucking rips.
Really?
Like the premise here, he's just like, it's a big rig trucker going through the medieval time through hell, and you're just like, what? Like, what? Like, is this like a Post Malone concept album?
It's gonna be a free comic book day.
When is that, by the way?
May?
Yeah.
Early May, first week.
Potentially the last one, since Diamond does.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Do the
free comic book day is a Diamond thing.
So,
R.I.P.
Be
free
sure to
comic
go to
book
this
day,
one.
Maybe, yeah.
Will I check it out? Yeah. I think it's a trade. I don't think they're doing single issues.
No, I think it's going to be a graphic novel.
Graphic novel.
But if you want a first appearance, I guess get the free comic book day.
Here's
one.
the thing.
People are going to be gaga for the.
This will be a secondary fuckery book, so be warned. Like this is maybe a berserker situation
where you could probably sell it for some money like day one, and then beyond that,
please don't do that.
It'll be worth nothing.
Don't do that.
You know what though? You know what was a free comic book day book that's actually worth some money is the Umbrella Academy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that launched as a free comic book day book,
and people. I think that's when people started to realize, oh, we can make money off of these free comics.
Mm-hmm.
But don't do that. Free comic day is supposed to be a fun day for kids to get free comics.
Yeah,
and kids at heart. So keep that in mind. I do want to know who the artist is for the graphic novel.
I don't know that.
They haven't announced it yet, even when we covered it. So I think that'll be the make or break for me.
They were like, not important.
Yeah,
do we need art?
Yeah. What do you mean a comic book needs art? It's going to be a movie. Shut up, nerd. The free comic book day is just the script. Oh, fun.
Can Posty draw it? Okay, we each read a comic book?
A comic.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This was a very light week for first issues.
Yes.
Normally, we've got a choice of like any of like 15 first issues.
Yeah. I can't explain it either.
Yeah, a ton of like second, third, fourth, fifth prints. So if you look at your like CLZ for first issues that came out this week, I mean, it looks like a lot, but so many of them are subsequent printings.
Yep.
And this might be one of those situations where maybe there's like a lot of.
That's the end of January.
A lot of Wednesdays this month, maybe the way it lined up.
Yeah.
When there's like 5 Wednesdays in a month, there's one of them that's always like weak as fuck.
It's a weak-ass Wednesday, man.
Weak-ass Wednesday, oh, wow.
WWW.
Okay, so I read Xaviers Secret.
Which sounds like a cinematic show.
It does sound like fanfic or something. which is an X-Men comic, and they've been alluding to this for a minute.
He's on the run right now, right?
He's in like a prison.
Okay.
So they've turned
a prison of his own design.
They've turned the Xavier Institute into like a supermax for mutants.
Yep, because that's what the Sentinels book is about.
Yes, and he's held like in maybe what used to be Cerebro or something.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And he's just like trapped in there. And they've got like others
bored out of his fucking
They've got
mind.
like other psychics trying to like block his whole thing so he can just stay away, not affecting
that's so
anybody.
Funny to me.
I know. It's supposed to be kind of insult to injury that they turn their place of learning and higher education into a prison.
I just love the fact that other psychics are just outside the room, just like no, no.
I'll outthink you. So, two things. I think Alex Packnadell wrote this.
Hell yeah.
It's a two-parter.
Alex is also writing the Sentinels book.
Yeah. Okay. So it makes sense that he's writing this. Mm-hmm. It has a book the first story is like a full-fledged comic. This was like a $7-8 comic book, because it was like two comics in one, basically. Yeah. And the first one was a Phoenix story.
That's what we call a wallet killer.
Where Scott is just like worried about his relationship when Jean has the Phoenix Force. She's basically like
insatiable,
an ageless god, and he's just like,
you're hurting me, Jean.
Your daughter, like all these people are gonna grow old, and you're gonna forget about us because you're like immortal. And he's just like, that's really tough for me.
And Jean's like,
Get over
counting on it.
Yeah. Get to the end of your spiel, Slim.
Why are your clothes still on?
I mean, that was honestly kind of the tone of this comic.
Oh,
where
shit.
Jean was like, let's go to freaking Bali. What are we doing? And Scott's trying to have this like reflective last like hurrah with her to be like, this is a memory I want to hang on to because you're about to go to space and work it out with the Phoenix Force. And like, you may never come back the same Jean.
Yeah. So, she's like, that's why I want to go to Bali, fuckhead.
Yeah.
You coming?
So there's this, I don't know, there's this like cool, creepy, haunting story that kind of like deals with or parallels a little bit of their situation and brings to the surface all of Scott's feelings so they can have an emotional moment before
they go to Bali and get fucking
before they
weird.
go to, yeah, do blow and get boned.
In that order.
Yeah. Okay, and then so that's the first story, and that's just kind of like a sweet little here's a bow on the like Phoenix book that just came out and a couple other X-Men things going on. Okay, and then the main event, the headliner,
ding 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 ding,
Xaviers Big Secret.
Yuck.
So if you're an X-head, I'll give you a recap if you're not, if you haven't been reading X-Men.
And this isn't Ecstatic Fans.
No.
The band.
No, that's right. At the end of the Krakoan age of comics, wherein the X-Men had their own party sex island, where they were free to do whatever they wanted.
Freaky deaky.
That series ends with Professor X
alone on Krakoa, right?
Basically sacrificing a plane, a ship full of humans who are non-mutant in order to prove himself to this organization called Orcus, who is trying to annihilate all mutants in order to ingratiate himself. Like, this was like a big thing he needed to do to get on the inside of this group to take them down from the inside or whatever he was going to do.
Yeah.
And everyone was kind of like, unforgivable. Your whole thing,
right,
this whole time has been your peaceful coexistence between human and mutant, and you lost yourself in the power trip of having like
sounds like you did.
Sovereign nation, and kind of betrayed a a handful of other team members in the events leading up to that, and some messed up stuff. But of course,
Xavier has a big secret.
He's our old good boy, Charles X, and he's got a secret. So this story follows.
He put them all into witness protection. Under the same name. Damn it, Charles.
I'm gonna spoil this. So if you don't want to know Xaviers Secret, which
why wouldn't you?
I'm kind of like,
don't kink shame.
It's nothing that's gonna blow you away. And I'm also, here's another thing that bothers me about this.
Bali sex party,
if I may, is that I know that like the new X books, they're kind of like, and I think Tom Brevoort said this the other day.
Mm-hmm.
He was just like, stop talking about Krakoa. We are in the aftermath of Krakoa.
Hey, sorry, man. When you make a fucking heater of an X-Men series, we're gonna talk about it.
And we read it for like 4 years. Like, we're still kind of dealing with the fallout of it.
I'm getting
right?
real cranky with Tom and his attitude.
He's got a lot of opinions, and I love it, to be honest.
That's fine.
His Substack is so good because he brings takes.
He's getting real fucking sassy.
Whether you agree with him or not, it's a fun read, I think.
Whatever, man.
If he were just
I know you're trying to make your mark, Tom, but like,
if he were just a fan, I would find it heinously annoying. But because he is like one of the Marvel guys,
he's like a fucking editor.
It is so fun to just have him just be so blunt with like his feelings on this stuff.
It's like a Mean Girl burn book.
Yeah, it's so fun. So big recommend on his Substack.
When he poo-pooed the thruple of Jean and Wolverine and Cyclops, I was like, dude, fucking come on. Like, let us have some fun.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not really official. Okay. Fucking square pants, khaki wearing bastard.
Okay. This comic follows a reporter who's kind of trying to get to the bottom of like the Charles Xavier story and break what happened.
Okay.
And she's talking to all these connections she has and a handful of mutants. And she's kind of like broken the case. And
she's figured out Xavier's big secret.
Yes. And via telepathic messaging, Xavier appears to her and is like, yes, here's this is the secret, blah, blah, blah.
So he's broken free of the other.
Yeah, he's got enough of like a lapse in psychic protection that he's able to like make his way out and have this conversation with her.
Mm-hmm.
And he reveals to her that this is the 4th time they've had this exact conversation.
Oh my God.
And that he's wiped her brain every time because it's important that it stay a secret because
should be like hunted down.
I think partly to protect people and partly to not undo the sacrifice that he made, where like he needs to be the bad guy in all of this,
mm-hmm.
so the rest of mutant kind can get away unscathed. He did the bad thing, a soul act by a soul individual,
mm-hmm.
blah, blah, blah. It shields everyone else from the decisions that they made that day that could have ended in worse scenarios, where if someone doesn't do this,
mm-hmm.
then thousands of people die, right?
It's kind of like how President Truman had to drop the bomb on Hiroshima. And
sure.
Like he was like, I have to be, the blame has to rest solely on the person who has made this decision.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a bad comp, but
I'm like, I don't want to get into the atomic bomb, Greg. Too soon.
Yeah.
This soon after Oppenheimer?
Yeah.
Barbenheimer, my favorite movie.
Can I make a quick thing about if any psychic people are listening to the show?
If any psychics are listening to the show?
Real or otherwise.
Let's talk about this.
You already know what I'm going to say, but I need to say it. If you need to tell me something so important that you're then immediately going to wipe my mind, don't tell me. I don't want my brain to be fucked with like that. You know, like, okay. I would be so pissed if I was this reporter.
Yeah.
I'm just like, you've done what to me?
Yeah.
How many times?
Well, I think
Stop telling me, Charles.
I think part of this is each time he gets her consent. May I mind erase you, my dear?
Mind fuck you? Because I'm about to Chris Angel all up in this bitch. Yikes. Okay.
So the last time she kind of like starts over.
Yeah.
But he's like, you're probably going to find your way back to it because I can't change who you are at your core, which is like a very inquisitive person who like needs answers.
So let's do this again as he lights up a cigarette.
So I guess in that I didn't spoil the crux of the thing.
Yeah, I still don't know what the secret is.
Maybe
is the secret that he keeps wiping this lady's mind?
No, that's not the secret. The secret's kind of fucking bonkers. I'll tell you. Again,
seriously, skip ahead if you don't want to hear the secret.
Skip ahead like a minute if you don't want to hear it. Okay, so before this happens, he realizes, okay, I'm gonna have to prove myself in some capacity to these people.
Right.
So he takes these people who were gonna board this ship that he ultimately destroys and fucks with someone's mind to like send them all home, delete their files, whatever. And then he takes a bunch of Orcus corpses,
which is fun to say,
on Krakoa, and then uses Sinister's like
sex pits
to make shell clones of them, so like lifeless clones of them. And he walks, psychically like 12 empty husks of people onto the ship, and they launch it
like marionettes.
Yes.
Just
and
like
so
meat bags that he's moving with his
and
mind.
And so what he ends up blowing up are these like 12 human body dead husks of clones of people.
Okay.
So ultimately
he did a switcheroo.
So ultimately no one real is killed.
Well, I'll say that to the clones and their families. Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of like when they do this whole like flashback scene where you're kind of seeing some of it play out, and we're about at a minute, so we won't reveal what we just said.
We won't reveal Charles' secret.
But the visual of it is kind of like, that's fucked up, man. I mean, even though
is it better or worse?
You're saying like he's a good guy and everything, but it's like he is.
That's kind of repugnant, Charles.
Yeah, totally. It is. It is.
Like, you could have just said maybe no.
But hey, guy's got to keep his dirty little secrets, right?
I guess so. And then let me guess. Then he wipes her mind again at the end of the book.
So she's got trouble with like alcoholism and stuff. Is like a through line of this.
Well, her mind's been wiped 5 times. I'm sure there's some kind of residual pain there.
And she's like, you know what? Like, everything's so fucked at this point. Like, I want a full on reset.
Whoa.
And so he was just like, what do you want? And she was just like,
I want to know how to play guitar.
And she like picks a name and like,
whoa,
something else. And he's just like,
there's something pretty alluring to that.
And he's just like, you got it. And then it shows her, like unpacking, moving into a new neighborhood. She's like a new person who's like always been sober, doesn't drink, doesn't touch the stuff, and kind of has like a new lease on life because of it. But then they have a moment where this lady's like, where's all your stuff? Like, you just have like board games and puzzles. And she's just like, yeah, I don't know. I do like a good puzzle. That's like kind of how it ends.
Oh no!
So they're
She's
like,
gonna figure it out.
They're playing that like, yeah, she likes to solve a mystery.
How often does she have to relive this? Where she's like, you know what?
Hopefully it'll take longer this time. But
where's all your stuff? Charles didn't even think that through.
I was like, this is such a big comeuppance for this like loose hanging thread of Krakoa that I was like, if you're gonna do such a big story point, don't put it in a weird little one shot.
Yeah.
Like, let Alex Packnadel pop in to a large Uncanny, like a 25th issue or whatever, make it a double issue, and put that in Uncanny X-Men. Like, it bugs me so much when Marvel does this stuff where they did that, like, X Deaths of Wolverine.
Yeah, which was an incredible series that no one
100% story crucial.
Yes.
So there was a dual series, X Lives of Wolverine and X Deaths of Wolverine.
Yep.
X Lives of Wolverine, inconsequential.
Yep.
X Deaths of Wolverine,
almost essential.
Absolutely story essential. There's like, it's like the first time there's comeuppance with the Moira stuff in like so long. And you're like,
what
this
the fuck
is main line content.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't make people hunt for it. Or like the next time you pick up your next issue of X-Men, you're like, well, you just spoiled all this crazy stuff that happened and I didn't get to read it because I'm not buying all these like weird little tie-ins that should be nothing burgers.
I missed a lot of exposition.
God.
Hey, take it up with Tom.
They did that so many times.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Charles' Secret.
My rant is over.
Okay. I read 13 Days of Doom. Well, 13 Days of Doom was what the story was called, but it was the Doctor Doom Rocket Raccoon book by J. Michael Straczynski and Will Robson.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is like it's not really like an Elseworld thing or like I think it's just set in another time or like in another universe where this pairing happened.
Yeah, I don't know about that either.
Because this is a series of books for like different superheroes or different.
It's a set of one-shots with unlikely duos.
Right. And so I think these are just meant to be kind of just like a what-if kind of style book.
Do they acknowledge the previous body swap?
Yeah.
So then I would think it's 616 then.
Well, then
this is actually happening.
Then that creates an interesting problem.
Okay.
Because
a shit ton there's like 40 Doom books coming out in the next like 2 months.
And I think this is where we're kicking off.
Okay, yeah.
Because Doctor Doom summons Rocket Raccoon to his castle.
Yeah.
And they reference the body swap, and they both acknowledge that there's like, listen, while we were in each other's bodies, we kind of realized that like we're each other's equals intellectually.
Oh yeah, that's right. Rocket is like a super mechanics genius.
Yeah, he's like you are a master engineer.
Yeah.
And he's like, and I'm like a badass sorcerer, like tinkerer dude. And Rocket's just like, like I concur.
Yeah.
But in raccoon. And so Doctor Doom reveals that he is building a time machine.
Okay.
And this book, if you are interested in time travel or like you really loved Interstellar, this is a full-on like sex adventure in time traveling. It is like the creamiest little time space like thought book that I've read in a long time.
Nice.
And on a side note, there's this fun interaction that the editor and associate editor are having within the book where they're like arguing with each other within the boxes that are in panels. It doesn't really go anywhere, but it is a fun kind of thing to like just see in a book. So Doctor Doom requests Rocket's help to build this time machine.
Yeah.
And they get into this big discussion because Doctor Doom wants to go before the Big Bang.
Yes.
Like he wants to go back in time to before the Big Bang.
Before creation.
Before time.
Yeah.
And they get into this huge philosophical discussion about like, well, you can't go back to when there wasn't time.
Yeah.
And they figured out that if they slow entropy, that they can like slip past it. And entropy, if you really want to get into it, is just like
concept of chaos or something.
Well, it's the concept of propulsion.
Propulsion, okay.
Like since the Big Bang,
I should have misfed anything. I'm only going to sound stupid.
I only know this because of this motherfucking book. Since the Big Bang, entropy has been moving time forward.
Yeah.
Until its inevitable event horizon, where like time just goes all flat.
Yeah.
And then we're all fucking toast. Hey.
Hey.
Go drink a beer. And so they're just like, there is this funny interaction of them like working together to build this like contraption to get to before the Big Bang.
Okay.
So they finally get there after beating some space worms. Had to be a Marvel book. And they get to before the Big Bang.
Okay.
And in doing so, they are presented with a creature that is like unformed. It looks almost like Clayface from Batman.
Okay.
But this creature is like a child. And Doctor Doom seems upset. And Rocket says to him, well, he has no concept of anything because this is before anything was even born.
Right.
Like, this is a husk. This is a shell of a thing. And a component of the time machine is that Doctor Doom had to create some like amazing spells and curses on himself to remove a piece of his soul into like sentient form to like power the ship.
Okay.
And so this like amorphous pre-time creature sees that thing and is like drawn to it and takes the soul shard essentially out of the time machine and puts it into himself, which creates the Big Bang.
So they're the reason the universe is created.
So now they're transported back to their time by some magical time thing.
Yeah.
And Rocket Raccoon, Dr. Doom's just like, okay, you can leave. And Rocket Raccoon is just like, hold the fuck on.
Yeah, we just created the universe.
He's just like,
we know it.
He's like, do you realize that the universe was created in your image?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, you can go.
It's like I've always assumed.
It kind of, he was just like, yeah, he's like, I was worried about that. And Rocket's just like, I'm gone. Like, I can't, this is ridiculous. And so I don't know for sure if this is now going to be the crux that moves
the book forward.
The Doom World forward. Doom 2025 initiative.
If we assume this is 616, then like you were saying, it does have like
huge ramifications.
Like Marvel-wise. I mean, just like a debut of a character that was kind of like the impetus for
time itself.
Time itself is pretty interesting. Like, could this character show up again a la a Watcher type that is just like this being that's around?
I don't know. Like, it's so... Because it's like... The only way I can see Marvel undoing any of this is if this truly is 616, and if this truly is the reason that we're getting Doom and all in 2025, is that there has to be a comeuppance where him and Rocket have to work again to stop themselves from doing this.
Yeah.
Because I sincerely do not believe that in the Marvel 616 universe, the entire Big Bang is caused by Doctor Doom. That just seems too outlandish for me.
Who else would have the ego to do it? It would explain how shitty the world is. Right?
That's kind of like, that was kind of the point at the end of Doom. Just like, well, no fucking wonder, like, everything's been against me. It's just like, it's been predestined. So, going into this book,
Captain America's got to go back and be like, have a little piece of me. He squirts into the blob before Doom gets there.
It's like this big Marvel Bukkake scene where like everyone's just like secreting onto this soul shard. All right, I'm gonna pass this thing around. Everyone just kind of like spit on it, like some weird petri dish. Oh, yuck! Stan Lee's in there somewhere. Excelsior. Just filming
Excelsior.
it.
Oh,
Just like filming it. Just like, oh my god.
He's like, my legacy. How could you?
Jack Kirby's just like, I fucking told you.
Well, it's a weird place to end an episode, but
this is it.
I think
we're back, baby.
Yeah.
First Issue Club has never been stronger.
In the house.
We'll see you next week. We'll have Andy with us, so skip that one.
Bye. First Issue Club podcast is brought to you by Boulevard Brewing Company, the people responsible for our favorite drinks, the Space Camper Cosmic IPA family of beers. Our show is edited and produced by our hosts Mike DeStacy, Greg Lichtag, and Andy Vargas. You can find us on social media at First Issue Club, and you can join the supporters who keep our humble podcast going on our Patreon at patreon.com/firstissueclub.